Hello and welcome to Auto Access Japan. I'm Stuart McKeon. Today we're here at USS Tokyo. We're doing a short video on introduction to buying directly from the auctions, and this is a perfect place to start. This is one of the largest auctions in Japan, actually in the world, with over 7,000 cars on offer here today. So I'm going to give you a quick preview around the auction. We'll show you inside the bidding room, and then we'll go into more detail in the next video on how to search for cars. So here we are, we're obviously in the SUV section, and if we have a good look around, you can see the cars just keep going and going and going. There's the main office down there. Down here we've got some trucks. More trucks. Down the back there you'll see buses and more cars. There's actually little buses that take you all around this auction just to get you around the place. Okay, this section is special access vehicles for people in wheelchairs or disabilities. And there's quite a lot of cars here. You can see it goes back another 4 rows back there, and quite a lot of cars here of a huge variety. Vans, small cars, K cars, it's all here. Okay, this section here is the large four-wheel drive pickup type cars, left-hand drive, most of them, even got your Hummers in there, all those sorts of cars, very popular from the States. This section, which is quite large, is European sedans, sports cars, all the European stuff. Left-hand drive, right-hand drive, a whole lot. Maybe you're after a van, and well, there's plenty here every week. The van section. We did start way down there in the distance, and we've made our way back up to this side. We've got more European cars here, heaps and heaps and heaps of them. Japanese cars across the other side there, sports cars as well, and the high-end stuff is coming up. Okay, we've come into our high-end cars, Mercedes-Benz, Porsches, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Porsches, a Range Rover or two. They're all here, quite a lot of them. And then opposite we've got our K cars, which are the small Japanese 660cc cars, and there's heaps of those. They go on and on and on. If you want something very economical, you can't get better than a K car. And this section is the classic cars and cars of interest, some sports cars in there as well. But yeah, you can get some really old and some interesting cars in this section. And then finally under the shed, you've got the high range cars.
Okay, so here we are, we're inside the bidding room. The bidding room is actually at USS Yokohama. You can view this video yourself. It's you can see the address up here. And inside the bidding room, it's the big amphitheatre. We've got 4 big screens up the front, 4 different lanes of cars all going through simultaneously, A, B, C and D. They need to do it this way to get through all the cars they've got to get through in the one day. And down the front here you'll see all the dealers sitting here and bidding on the cars as they come up by pressing their bid buttons. Now only licensed dealers can bid on cars here in Japan, and only those dealers that have got accounts with the auction houses can have access to bid on cars. So that's all something that we have set up, and we'll bid on your behalf directly with the auction house. So let's do a quick play of this video. I just wanted to show you how quickly the cars go through the auctions, and this one here is a classic Japanese car. It's the Toyota Century, and it's starting at 180,000 yen. So let's see what it ends up selling for. Here we go. It's going. People are bidding on the car. Up into the 5s, up into the 6s, up into the 7s. Sold for 798,000 yen. Next one comes straight through, and it happens like this all day long. Okay, so some of the common questions I get asked is how much is the total CIF price going to be? How do I know I'm going to get a good quality car? And how do I know that the kilometres are genuine? So we're going to go in and answer all those questions in detail. About the CIF price, that will be covered in the next video in detail, so you'll see how to work it all out. But to start with, we do need a deposit to bid on a car for you from auction. US $1,000 deposit, which is refundable for any reason prior to us buying you a car, and after we get a car for you, it simply comes off the final invoice, so you get all that money back anyway. It's just there for our protection, so that if for some reason you don't follow through with the purchase of the car, we have some funds to then turn around and re-auction the car. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is just our website here in general. I go to the auctions myself every week, and I purchase cars for stock and inspect them. I inspect cars for other people, other customers as well, clients who are buying directly out of the auctions. Let's just have a quick look at this A-Class. We inspect the cars, bring them back to our yard, fully detail them, and provide plenty of quality photos on them so you can see the car in all their glory. Also, just down here we do a high definition YouTube on the car, and so you can see the car with a test drive, you can see it running, and that you know that there's nothing to spend on this car. It's in good condition. Just one little tip with watching the YouTubes, they are a high definition movie, but YouTube will automatically play them in a fairly low definition. If you want to watch it in high definition, you can click on one of those two there. Also, full screen, you can click down here, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way when we upload new cars, you can get updates sent to you via YouTube. This is a very important part here. It's the shipping estimator. If we click on that, you can get a shipping price for this car to just about any country. So to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, it's going to cost just over $1,000. Now the next question we have is, how do we know about the kilometres? Now we put our VIN numbers up here so you can see them nice and clearly, and I'll just flick across and I'll show you this this sheet here. Now this is the export certificate for this car, and there's the matching VIN number. It's got our name on it, so we can be guaranteed that we own the car. Now in Japan, there is a system. Every 2 years, a car must go through a registration check, detailed check, called Sharken. And when that Sharken is undertaken, the government record the kilometres on the car. So here you can see in 2008 it had 29,100 kilometres. In 2010 it's got 52,600 kilometres. And now in 2012 it has 83,000 kilometres. Now if at any stage that those kilometres, when the car gets auctioned, if the kilometres don't match what was on the registration certificate, it will be marked on the auction sheet. And here's an example here. This is a nice old SL500 from 1991, and it's got 42,217 kilometres. And here is a big asterisk, sometimes it's a question mark, and this is telling us that the meter has been changed and that the kilometres on the car do not match the official records. So we all know about the cars that have been changed with their kilometres. Usually on modern cars, on more recent cars, it's not a problem. Very, very rarely see it. On some older cars and sports cars, you can see the kilometres change from time to time, but it's something we always look out for, and we don't buy cars that have had their kilometres tampered with. Okay, so moving on, that's answered that question. The next thing we need to look at on the auction sheets is you know, how am I going to get a quality car? Well, this is part of the reason you will get a quality car, because the auction house has a bunch of inspectors that inspect every car that comes in, and they do this auction sheet on the car, and they write down every problem with it. They mark down all the dents, scratches around the car, whether the panel's been replaced, if it's got a crack in the front bumper, this one, and if there's any problems, say if the roof's not working or the roof lining's coming off or there's something wrong with the dash, it'll be all written here on the auction sheet, which is a great independent inspection that is done by all auction houses throughout Japan. So you can see up here also there's a grade, a 3.5C this car, so you know the interior is going to be a little dirty, and you know the exterior is not going to be in great condition. Be okay, but not in great condition. So we have to get a good translation and a good idea about auction sheets, just go to this auctions and auction sheets explained, and here you'll get a translation of a USS auction sheet, and what all the symbols mean, all the letters that they write around on the car diagram. And further down you'll get a description of all the grades. Which is an S and a 6 and even a 5 is like a brand new car. 4.5 and 4 is what we normally buy. We can also buy some R grades or RA grades if they've been properly repaired and have only had a small accident, then they're okay as well. But before we'll translate all this for you anyway on the day that you inquire on a car. Also, there is the interior description here as well. The interior A, B, C, D, E. So again, we will stick with an A, B, and sometimes a C is quite okay. So there we go. That's those answers, questions answered. And now we'll move on to looking into the database and doing a search, doing a basic search for a vehicle. First, you'll need to register in our database. That'll send me a message, and I'll get back to you with your confirmation. And once you get that, you can log in. And if you click this button, it will take you to this screen here.